looking to purchase property here in Belize.
Wait. Before we get into that, there are 7 myths that we want to share with you. Come on back, Giselle. Let's share these myths with our viewers here before we get into all those details. Because, folks, these myths debunked will save you a lot of money on real estate transactions here in Belize. Myth number 1, traditional bank financing is available for foreigners, and that is absolutely a myth. Belize tends to be a cash market. If you are a foreigner planning to buy property here in Belize, it is best that you have cash. Now, if you need to find access to more cash, you can usually get a HELOC or a line of credit from your bank at home. You can sell a primary residence or some sort of investment to bring cash here into Belize, or you can look for opportunities that have seller financing. Traditionally, though, we're only looking at about 20 to 25% of sellers offering seller financing, and the terms are not at all compared to bank financing. So typically, seller financing rates will be 50% down, 3 to 5 year term, and 8 to 10% interest.
People also ask, can I use a bank in Belize to take out a loan to purchase property in Belize? And the answer is also no. Myth number 2, real estate in Belize is cheap. That is false. Belize actually has some of the most expensive real estate, especially when comparing it to the United States. For example, on Kikoker, your standard empty residential lot starts at around $70,000 US. Your beachfront properties with no infrastructure on it start at around $200,000 US. And just to make things clear, scarcity is a real thing because we are talking about the islands. Kikoker is only 5 miles long, and currently we only have 6 beachfront properties for sale on the entire island.
Wow.
Yeah, 6.
Well, you know what? To me, that just screams opportunity.
Right?
Get in now, get in while there's scarce opportunity, and then
Get it while it's hot.
Yeah, let it appreciate and sell. Myth number 3 is that you're going to make crazy high returns. So many times people come into the market here in Belize, investors in their home country, North America, and they're comparing their numbers in North America to what they anticipate here in Belize. Now, I'm going to give you a good reality check. Is some of the best properties here are producing about a 4 to 6% net return on investment. And there's reason for it. We do have real expenses here, especially on the Keys and the islands, where the sea salt is a real thing. We have repairs that are needed more often than you may anticipate. But what also tends to happen is owners use their property during prime rental time. So if it's important for you to have a place here in paradise that you can come down to, maybe you're cash flow positive, getting enough money, generating enough income to pay for your plane tickets, have a little bit of spending money here, that is the best expectation you can have when you buy real estate here in Belize for rentals.
Myth number 4, can you own the beach? The answer is no. The little more complicated answer is kind of. So
always exceptions.
Yeah. So we do have families that have been grandfathered in for generations and do own the beach. But apart from those very specific and rare exceptions, any new buyers coming in cannot outright own the beach. From your boundary line, you have to reserve at least 66 feet for public access.
And that's called Queensland. So just anticipate when you're buying beachfront property, there'll be a 66-foot easement that allows for everybody to be able to enjoy the beach, so it's not just owned by one person. Myth number 5, that all properties have cleared road access and utility hookups. This is simply not the case. Here in Belize, you'll find a variety of properties, and sometimes when a client sends me a listing and like, this price is exactly what we want, it's even more land than we anticipated, I'm like, sometimes it seems too good to be true for a reason. Does it have cleared road access? If not, then it's going to be up to you as the buyer to put that road in. There's no guarantees when the government is going to do it. Also, is there public utility set up? So does public water run to that property? Does public electricity run to that property? If it does not, then you will typically be the one responsible to pay for that infrastructure to get to your lot or to your land. And if you don't anticipate this, if you're just dependent on the government, you could be waiting for a long, long time. Now, living off-grid is not something that's uncommon here. In fact, there are many properties that do not have utility access here, so people will get solar. They will get rainwater catchment systems and cisterns. That's just another expense that you're going to have to account for when you're budgeting for your home.
For example, I own a property 3 rows from the main street. That means, and just to be clear, none of the parcels in front of me are filled, which means that if I want to access my property, I first have to pay for the sand to build the road. Then that way the truck dumping the sand to my property can now access my property. Now I have a pathway for the truck to pour sand into my property. I also have to pay for the lamp posts to get to my property. It's very expensive, so I will wait.
That's right. And we don't know when, we don't know when, but if you got time on your hands, that's a great thing. And, we are constantly hearing about infrastructure improvements that the government are undertaking in both Key Cocker and Ambergris Key, whether it's new roads going in, it's electricity coming places, or just generally water systems. So there absolutely is improvements happening, but we can never guarantee the timelines because we don't know when that's going to happen. But just anticipate it. Just anticipate it. And always ask that question, though. That's up to you also to do your due diligence to ask, does it have cleared road access and does it have utility hookup?
Number 7, when you purchase a property in Belize, it means the property is already filled and ready to go. This is not the true all the time. Actually, this is not true majority of the time. What you have to do is actually find out how far you are from the main road. Like I said earlier, you have to then pay to establish the road, and then your delivery truck that delivers you the sand now has access to dump the sand into the road and to fill the property.
It gets expensive, and it's not uncommon on either of the keys for land to be swampy. I mean, that's how a lot of the island was created, was by filling and building. And so it's not uncommon for a surveyed piece of property that's for sale to be requiring fill. Now, I can tell you at Secret Beach, there are some really great deals on properties out there, but what people don't realize is that during rainy season, it is just all water, and it's gonna cost just as much for them to fill the lot as they may be spending to buy the property.
For example, let's discuss some numbers. A 5,000 square foot property that requires at least 3 feet of filling will cost about $25,000 US on Key Cocker.
That's substantial.
Yeah,
that's substantial. Myth number 7 is that I can take down the mangroves that are in front of my beachfront property. And that is absolutely not true. If you want to remove any mangroves, you do have to get permission and approvals from the Department of the Environment, the DOE. However, I wouldn't recommend removing mangroves. There are so many benefits that it has here in the environment. And as a beachfront property owner, you probably want to ensure that your property is not going to be subject to erosion. And one of the best ways to prevent erosion is mangroves. And I know you've seen some really unique ways of mangroves being incorporated into properties, right?
So I want to bring up Naya Resort. They own property on the beach side and the lagoon side, and they've completely transformed the place. Here are some, they've added a yoga sky deck to the mangroves. They've added little pathways. If you think about Cancun, they also have some beautiful high-end luxury restaurants that also maintain the mangroves, such as Funky Geisha, and it's actually one of the most expensive restaurants in Cancun. So these are just a few ideas of what you can do while preserving the mangroves. We also have Bliss Beach on Key Cocker. What they decided to do was add some sand around the mangroves to make it more walkable instead of murky, and just clear like a small little pathway so you're allowed to walk into the beach.
Smart. Smart. Yeah, I want to make sure my property is not going to be eroding, and I want to make sure I am helping the marine life. There are such big areas for fish breeding there within the mangroves. Do what you can to preserve it, people, because you want to make sure you're taking care of your little piece of paradise here.
So if you have any questions, be sure to reach out to me, Giselle with Premier Realty Belize, and
I'm Rachel Jensen with Luna Realty Belize.
We also will have links to our free ebooks where we answer several more questions for you.
Oh yes, a lot more questions.
Hundreds actually.
Hundreds.
So just click the link below.
All right, bye folks.
See you in the next video.